the reasons, my lord.
Because between 8, going by their hypothesis, between 8:15 in the morning and 10:15 when the students were, according to them, given the papers, it's very unlikely that in 2 hours the questions were solved and then
everything, and they were made to memorize. This is
so the alternate hypothesis appears to be more logical, according to you. That the leak occurred even before the question papers were lodged with the.
That's right. Correct. That is my respectful submission.
The State Bank of India and Canara Bank.
Unless it is their case that
And
the
in
leak
which
happened
case,
when it
the
was in
leak
the
has happened between sometime before the 3rd,
before the third.
or on or before the 3rd. Then between the 3rd and 5th, there's a fairly long period of time.
That's right. During the period, my lord, it was in the custody of a private courier company, where they were taking it into rickshaws and here and there for days together. For days together in private hands.
So what is, since when was NTA established?
2017. It was 17, but the first NEET exam they conducted in 2019.
But 2019 onwards, the questions have always been handled by private companies or private couriers?
In the route, en route, there are checks. And if any courier company or any employee of a courier company tampers with the vehicle in which is transporting the trunks, it would be registered on a real-time basis with digital footprints. I'll be able to show.
But how is the digital footprint not available here then?
It's not the CBI has investigated that there is no tampering en route.
Why don't?
Anyway,
There is no tampering
en route.
Then where does the tampering take place?
There is no the tampering.
Hey, don't laugh. I mean, this is we are not. We are asking a serious question. This is not. We're not trying to poke fun at the argument or anything. We are trying to understand it.
No, I understand, anyway, let us.
According to you, where does the leak take place?
So there is no leak which has taken place.
No, okay. Where does the breach take place?
There is a breach which has taken place where we have the timings, we have the CCTV footage of someone going inside the particular center. That's what I wanted to show to your lordship.
So, what time does that take place?
Yeah, yes, my lord, it is 9. Give me the first report. Lord, it's a part of my. Between 8 to. Between in the morning 8 to 9:23. The person goes in, photographs the paper, and comes out, and thereafter, my lord, your lordship will find.
But 1 second. Assuming that happens between 8 and 9:20, we have to test this hypothesis in the ordinary course of things.
Yes, sir.
According to you, the students got the question paper at about 10 o'clock, 10:15.
After 10, after it was solved.
Is it likely this questions, there are 180 questions?
Yes, sir.
Right? Is it possible that in 45 minutes between 9:30 and 10:15, they would have problem solvers preparing the answers to 180 questions and then putting it together for the students in 45 minutes?
Look, they got 1 hour and there were 7 solvers. I can't divulge all this information. It's a part of my report. There were 7 solvers. They demarcated 25 questions each. And I can tell you, lordship, why they were required to memorize. But if we are, all of us are sitting in one classroom, the 180 plus 20 questions would be same. But the number of the question would be shuffled.
That's right.
My question number 1 would be his question number 8. So nobody can give a answer sheet ready that A answer is B answer is C. They will have to memorize. And so far the investigation has been able to identify 18 students And because of this lack of time from 10 to 12, because they were asked to go back to their centers, they have to report to the
But
center.
Mr. Solicitor, the whole hypothesis that within 45 minutes to an hour, not only was there a breach, but the entire question paper was solved in a space of 45 minutes
No,
and
within
then given
1
to
hour.
the students.
Within 1 hour.
Seems to be very far-fetched. In 1
Lord.
hour, all that happened.
Lord, within 1 hour, and there were 7 solvers, and 7 solvers bifurcated questions.
So according to you, the leak, the breach occurred when the
8:02 a.m. in the morning to 9:23 in the morning.
It was taken out.
So the papers left the vault at 8 o'clock, 8:02.
9:23. They didn't have much time, therefore.
But what time did the papers leave the vault of the State Bank of India or Canara Bank, whichever bank?
7:30, which is under the videography, we have, under the CCTV, we have recovered the footage, and there is no.
So 7:30 they leave the bank.
Yes.
After that, the paper
They
is.
bring it to the center.
What time does it reach the center?
5 minutes.
From Hazaribagh.
7:45. And since the.
No, Patna में भी तो होगा ना कोई.
So but assuming that it was 8:02 to
We have
9:30.
evidence to show, but I'll be able to show it to your lordship. And that is why, that is the reason why, because the students got only 2 hours to memorize the questions. I'll be able to show that. Out of 18 students who are identified, who were brought at a particular place, only 1 student is getting possible admission. Of course, now he would be facing the debarment, etc. Only 1.
But there are about 225 students totally involved. 225.
No, I cannot give the figure, but it would not cross 150. That's our estimate. And I will be able to substantiate these facts, my lord, by the very meticulous investigation conducted. My lord, the person who went inside for the purpose of breaking is arrested. The
CBI second report.
Lord, I would request your lordships, my lord, to closely scrutinize the CBI appeal, status report. My lord, if your lordships can, my lord, may I request? May I request in report number 1, kindly read from para 27 onwards.
Now see report number 2.
Yes,
Report number 2.
yesterday, filed yesterday. Would your lordships consider?
Para 113.8 at page 13.
Second. Your lordships are on para?
Page 13, para 113.8.
Yes. The total number of candidates so and so from the are around so and so. Therefore, my lord, I said that it would not cross roughly, my lord, 150. And at every stage of the travel route,
113.8,
8,
113.8. Just read it in your mind.
yes, the
That's
total
all.
number
That's all.
around 150.
This is your figure.
Yes. Therefore, I said my total would
Correct.
not cross 150. post-dated checks.
Between Patna and Hazaribagh?
Patna.
What is the distance between?
Lord, it is at a distance. Lord, the one gang member who was also at Hazaribagh, Lord, sent it by WhatsApp.
How much? 240.
It is my 240 around. And their model is, my lord. No, their model is not to allow students also to take photographs because if it leaks, they have been given, kindly, this is crucial. The parents have given post-dated checks. Lord, para 50 of first report, my lord, if your lordships can see on this in this context, my lord. Page 19.
हजारीबाग से गए
Even 15 questions.
Next, a request to once again go through, my lord, these two reports. My lord, their modus operandi or business model, my lord, whichever way we put it, is they ensure that the paper is not leaked and given to students whose parents have given post-dated checks over and above the advance money. So that if it leaks and spread into thousands of people, then the examination is cancelled and they will not get anything. So students, when called, for the purpose of memorization, were asked to keep their mobiles out. They also purchased, I don't wish to divulge much, it's mentioned there, my lord. Accused are in custody.
10 lakh.
Lord, we are not adverse to the petitioners, my lord.
The problem solvers been arrested by the CBI?
3 of them yesterday. Today also something has happened.
Doctors at AIIMS, Patna.
Sorry?
Not doctors, I think. Don't, now you have medical students. Earlier you said doctors. Why are you doing this?
Doctors or medical students at Patna. And their AIIMS Patna. That is very significant. Yesterday. I don't know what has happened today. It's an evolving situation.
Because their investigation will show us when they got the question papers.
There
Because,
is,
you know,
Where-
I'll tell you
in
one
which
thing.
hotel they were-
Tell you what is worrying us is how much was the period between the time when the breach occurred and the time of the exam.
No, not
The
more than
shorter it is, the less the likelihood of a widespread dissemination.
2 to
If
2.5
period, if that time period is say 3 days, then obviously that there's a greater danger of.
Obviously.
If that time period is say about 4 hours, then the
No,
only
let
question
me
is.
assure the petitioners, I am not adversarial to them.
Second,
Their concern is
second,
genuine.
I mean, we have to
But-
also look at it this way. Does somebody pay, say, 75 lakhs of rupees for a 45-minute deco into an exam?
Not that much also.
they will not.
It's not, my lord, the figure is also not there.
The question is, would they then seek to recover
See,
the
para 105 of the first report.
105. no? Maybe, my lord, because, so this is post literature, yes, my lord. My lord, meritorious. The parents underestimated. It is really, my lord, a painful thing. It is a painful thing. When we went, my lord, I can't share all this, my lord, where we went for interrogation. But some girls' engagement was going. Are considering whether it is a localized event which can be identified student-wise or it is a widespread event.
Mr. Huda, tell us one thing. Is there any evidence? Or, I mean, we are conscious of your limitations also, because investigation is still going on.
That's right. That's right.
Investigation is still unfolding. Is there any material to take, any material to indicate that a similar pattern was replicated outside Patna and Hazaribagh?
No, my lord, no.
Well, there is only one instance. No. Well, Lord, in Godhra, that OMR sheet thing, they say that the plot was that the students will leave the OMR sheets unmarked, and in the time between time for examination is over and before it is deposited, the geography lecturer, Mr. Tushar Bhatt, he will do the filling and will deposit it. The common sense suggests that he can't do it as a geography teacher unless the paper is already leaked. He has the ready answer so that as soon as the paper is given to him, he sit down and do the
But
mark.
Godhra, ultimately nothing happened because the
What
district
they did-
magistrate, the
what
district
they did was
administration stepped in.
That they
What?
prevented it by arresting the person before he could do the needful. But the question is, there was people from different states had come to Godhra to let the machination fructify. So the people filled that center pertaining to Karnataka and all other states from the Odisha, Karnataka, etc.
How
people.
many, Godhra, how many students, just 1 second. Godhra, how many students appeared?
In total, Milord, the students, but
But nobody is getting admission.
we can't.
Nobody is getting admission.
Your lordship would allow me to
What has
speak for a
happened?
while?
But
What has-
nobody possibly, nobody is getting admission because it never went to successful fruition. in
That's right.
Godhra.
My lord, what has
But
happened?
tell us one thing, totally Godhra, how many centers were there? Just, I mean, we just wanted to,
I'll just, in the meanwhile, and what happened in Godhra?
just only,
My
just tell
learned
us what
friend is
happened.
right. My learned friend is right. There was a person called Tushar Bhatt. He was the center superintendent, that in charge of that center. He assured students that you pay me this amount. What I will do is I'll ask the physics teacher and chemistry teacher to fill up the answer sheets. Whatever you can answer positively, you are confident, you answer. Otherwise, leave blank because
Tushar, who is Tushar Bhatt?
Tushar Bhatt is a city, he is a physics teacher.
Center
Center
superintendent,
superintendent, himself
well-
is a physics teacher and he's,
geography teacher. If I read correctly, it's a geography teacher.
I'll just check.
That's what
But
we have read.
physics teacher and
So he
geography.
was like the invigilator at the center. He was the invigilator at the center.
In charge of the center, my lord, but the physics.
And it is alleged that, after the students had filled in their OMR sheets,
He would get
the
3
blanks,
hours.
the blanks would be filled in by the.
Filled in by. This information was, my lord, came to the knowledge of district magistrate and district education officer.
Lord, this was
There-
a month before, Lord, I had shown the email a month before this information was
So
given.
Godhra has nothing to do with the paper leak per
Paper
se.
leak, my lord, therefore
Except that what they are saying is that if the center in charge had made that representation, obviously he had the answers somewhere.
no,
That's right.
what he said was,
That's
that they are also arrested.
But were any of the solved question papers recovered from the center in charge in Godhra?
It was not permitted, my lord, because the officers came at 2 o'clock only. They sat through the exam and in their presence, they ensured that everything is sealed and sent. So those who kept blank remained blank.
And now from totally, how many students appeared from Godhra? Totally. How many centers were there in Godhra? If you can- 2 centers in Godhra. How many total number of students in Godhra? 2513.
And Lord, how many from outside came?
I'm just going to come to it. 2513 in the 2 centers. Now, out of 2513, how many come within the cutoff for 1.08 lakh seats?
How many are likely?
Around 12 lists.
Just a second, I'll just write. Godhra, 2 centers, 2513 candidates. And how many come within that 1.08 lakh, the last cutoff?
12, my lord,
12.
12.
About 18.
18.
One center 12, another center about 6. We have given this pattern of mark distribution also, their performance also is, below average. That is that PDF page number 1016.
How many students at Godhra out of the 2,513 had come in from, who had changed their centers?
Please, the 14 to do it. Its application was done by about 36. It was not allowed for on account of non-availability. Only 14 were allowed change of center.
Is there anyone getting?
No.
Out of 14, nobody is getting admission in
Lord,
there. 1,08,000.
who originally applied, somebody from.
Mr. Hoda, then even Godhra seems to be a sort of a localized, see, Godhra,
Cheating issue more than, my lord.
Godhra, it never went through. In the sense that before they could do anything, there were arrests.
Yes, Lord. My submission is not that
Right.
actually the cheating has happened in Godhra, but I say the leak footprint was not confined to Patna. The
It came to
paper had
Godhra.
gone everywhere and
Not
there was.
everywhere. We at least now, we take your point that there's a likelihood that the leaked answers had traveled to Godhra as well.
Right.
But Godhra, there is one clear distinction that the students had no opportunity to put their.
Lord, somewhere they are caught, somewhere they are not caught, something
No,
is
but Godhra,
noticed,
no.
something is unnoticed.
Godhra, nothing. Godhra, there is no wrongdoing at all eventually.
Yes.
Because before they could, because the process was not the students memorizing the question, but the
It was.
the center in charge putting the right dots.
But Lord,
That never took place in Godhra.
Lord, here this honorable court is considering the question whether the leak has a widespread footprint or not. Now, this is one of an indicator that this Mr. Tushar Bhatt had the answers beforehand so that he can do it. So it's a possibility. The possibility cannot be ruled out that he had the sold question paper.
कंट्री भी हो सकता है ना, ये तो पकड़ा गया है बस।
Godra,
Yes,
apart from
seven months. Even physics and chemistry teacher who was supposed to put the dots, the answer the questions, they are also arrested.
I see.
And with Mr. Tushar Bhatt, who, it's a case of cheating. He cheated the students. That you pay me 10 lakhs, I'll do this.
It's a case of malpractice, but it assumes that they had the benefit of the answer sheets,
That's right.
the solved question paper.
That's right.
Because those physics and chemistry teachers who were to fill in the blanks, they would also have, they will not do it on the spot. They would have the pre-prepared swab.
Mr. Bhatt said, Mr. Bhatt said, Mr. Bhatt said, I would have 3 hours before I seal the answers. So he gave it to the students or the parents.
That was his representation.
That is his representation based upon which he recovered some money.
Mr. Huda, from what we have now, I think we can wrap up your submission because you're the other side.
Just quickly wrap
Now,
up in 10
it
minutes.
appears that Godhra, I don't think we can say is an example of a very widespread
I have just
decay.
one thing to point out.
But there is no evidence to indicate that actually that scheme went through. In which case, as of now, we find that there is only wrongdoing which has taken place in Hazaribagh and Patna. To postulate that, on that basis, then the only thing which we are left with are the statistics.
And
That 61 students got 720 out of 720. Out of 61 students, as we now know, 44 got it because of that award of full marks, treating both the options of a question as correct. Can we cancel an examination only on that basis?
yes,
That's the point.
let me very
Or,
quickly.
or is it something which falls short of the threshold which requires the court to cancel an
Let me
entire examination?
Very rapidly give me my view. A month before, admittedly, College Kaka, which I pointed out on the first date also, wrote to NTA that College Kaka is a counseling center on 3rd of April 2024, more than a month before this exam. He indicated that this scam of OMR sheets being filled up later is going to happen. Please take care. The email is received on 3rd of April. In their response now, they say the email from the entity College Kaka subsequently has been forwarded by NTA to the appropriate concerned authority for investigation and necessary action. So this conspiracy was already a month before hatched.
I'll just do it.
But one more angle, this Mr. Bhatt, Tushar Bhatt, would have the question paper from 2 o'clock onwards, not after 5. One of his students can give it to him. And they would start solving. And thereafter, somebody, that was his idea of committing fraud, and therefore he started approaching parents of his knowledge. We have recovered 30 post-dated checks.
If I
My
can
lords wanted to know.
rapidly, wrap it up.
Whose center was changed, which they say is pre-planned and conspiracy. Not even a single candidate has come. Actually, at that was.
Well, the story they are giving to this honorable court that the paper was collected from Hazaribagh at 7:30 and 240 kilometers in the transit, there was a breach. And on the breach, everything happened. paper was
I
sold.
don't think that is the case.
My lord,
It's
that's
not,
the case.
Mr. Solicitor, is it your case, Mr. Kaushik? Which was being transported from Hazaribagh?
Yes.
No, not from Hazaribagh.
Where?
It traveled to Hazaribagh to one of the gang members.
Lord, that is
It happened in Patna.
Lord, Lord, it's an.
It's a school.
Oasis school is Hazaribagh, your lordship
Right.
are right, where this breach happened.
But the breach occurred in at Oasis school, according to you.
And
The
we have the
school-
CCTV footage.
That
The
the school
footage
is 3rd of May.
before 8:02 a.m., where both the trunks are like this. After 9:23, both the trunks are
And what about the Patna breach?
It is linked.
linked to Hazaribagh. On a para 50, my lord, if you are saying.
But therefore, Hazaribagh, the leak occurred in Oasis school, according to you.
Yes,
But in Patna, how is it linked to Hazaribagh?
my lord, the gang was saying. If your lordship sees para 50 of my first report.
Lord, 3rd of May, the Hazaribagh, it reached 3rd of May. School.
My lord, page 19. Chintu is Hazaribagh. But this Chintu is Patna. Yes. And they ensured, my lord, that they purchase a new mobile with a new SIM card so that there is no further leak.
Not sure. 45 minutes, the whole question paper can be solved. So the primary breach occurs at Hazaribagh,
Yes.
where the questions, the solving also takes place at Hazaribagh. It's relayed to Patna and then disseminated at 10:15. So that means between 9:30 and 10:15, the entire 180 questions were solved.
After
Is
question.
the Patna FIR. The Patna police who first launched the FIR
Can I?
at 6 o'clock. They say we were tipped off by our people by the police in Hazaribagh. We catch that man there. That man tells us that we were on there on the previous evening itself. We were taken to this play school and all this was memorized. And what came in the NEET exam was exactly the same. So therefore, the leak, it has reached Patna on the 4th.
No. But the
Please read the FIR. Please read the FIR. Please read the
FIR
Patna
is
FIR.
not the final copy.
The Patna FIR, the Patna police, what?
My lord, would your lordship?
It's the Patna
When-
FIR which is crucial. And
only
why?
a minute.
and
The
just-
case diary, do we have the case diary of the Patna police?
The Patna
We have
police
the,
has
we have
submitted,
recovered.
they have submitted a report.
My lord,
to-
it went is one of
which is
the-
EOU report to the ministry. That report has not been placed before your lordships because the CBI takes over on the 22nd of June.
Huh? What is-
Or before that, the investigation was done by Patna, by the EOU. The EOU submitted a comprehensive report which is not before your lordship.
My
Your
lord-
lordships compares that report with what the CBI has done. Many more questions will arise.
Now, let me answer questions rather than arising questions. And please don't.
Okay, please summon that.
We are in the
report.
court, not on the screen. Please see. Para 50.
My lords, that's an unwanted thing from the Solicitor General.
Anyway, my lord, para 50 at page
And that's
90.
not,
At
All-
10:15 a.m.
Mr. Mehta,
That anyway. At
Jolly.
10:15 a.m. on 5/5/24, so-and-so received NEET solved exam question paper number so-and-so. Your lordship knows, my lord, there was a burnt question paper which was found by Patna police. And burnt question paper had the center number. Question number so-and-so.
Pankaj Kumar accesses it in OA.
this Lord, Lord, may I say something? Lord, para 51 also. One part goes at 10:35. My lord, at the outset, my lord, Mr. Hegde is a dear friend. We pull each other's legs, but this was unwarranted. But leaving it at that. But half of the question, my lord, paper was received at 10:35. Your lordship would find page 21, the photograph. They burnt the question paper because they didn't want that to travel anywhere else because that was their the source of money. But a part was, my lord, fortunately recovered, which contains this 6136488. This is the center number of
Hazaribagh, how many centers were there?
5. my lord,
Five. Just one second, I'll make a note of that.
So students were also, my lord, from all over the centers. The leak is at one center, but OS is, my lord, but
Centers, totally, how many students in Hazaribagh?
one. Many have by the candidates. Acha, total candidates.
Total.
Candidates. That entry.
5 centers, 2,736. 736.
2736. कितने qualify होते हैं?
How many candidates would now fall in that 1.08 lakh? How many of those 2,700 would have qualified for admission?
We will
Because we'll see.
One thing is clear, they are not in the first. Lord, kindly see, my lord, report of the IIT Madras.
That we got 56,000 are for the government medical colleges, the rest will be.
Hazaribagh or Patna, my lord, doesn't find place there. So possibly,
Let's,
very few would be, my lord, selected.
in the 1.08 lakh candidates, how many? We want to now see, because admittedly there has been a breach at Hazaribagh and Patna.
It's from all 5 centers, those who would be able to qualify are around 80 only.
1.8.
80, 80. यहाँ से देखना पड़ता है।
How many centers in Patna?
I'll give you one.
Lord, in first 60,000, earlier, in first 60,000, 60, in 2023, Patna had 1993 students. I am reading from the report of the IIT. Now it has come down to 1561 students. First 60,000. Thereafter, my lord, I'll.
Now this time Patna, how many centers were there? 7 centers. They are saying 7.
12 centers.
12 centers. And totally how many candidates?
I'll give you exact.
अब continue करना है ये।
नहीं वो तो first 100 लेकिन first मतलब those will be solid by